Hello and welcome to HMG's Global Viewpoint. I'm Hunter Muller, founder and CEO of HMG Strategy. Thrilled and excited to be here with the legendary Nick Donofrio. Nick, great to see you, my friend. And wow, I've been so looking forward to today's interview. I'm thrilled, excited, and by the way, maybe a little bit intimidated by a legendary leader like yourself, who's had such an amazing career. So thank you for being here.
My pleasure, Hunter, and thank you for inviting me, and good day to everybody who joined this call. So good to be with you all.
We have a lot of tech leaders on the take a question or two, if we can do that, Nick. But if you were to advise our audience today, how should they engage the CEO, the line of business, and the board? What should the dialogue be around the opportunity of strategically using AI, advancing current, parallel, and new business models?
Number one, I would rip out AI and I'd stick in technology, because AI is just the thing for today. The thing for tomorrow is going to be something else. Maybe it'll be quantum computing, or maybe it'll be neomorphic computing, or it'll be something you don't even know about. It'll be that new thing. So be careful when you're advising people to not be the thing that's happening right here and now, because by the time you get to that thing, it may be too late. And I say this all the time to my colleagues, right? So the advice is understand the entire landscape of technology, of everything that's important, of everything that's meaningful. Modeling, simulation, high performance computing, quantum computing, everything. Yes, AI is in that mellow, in that mix as well. But remember what you're doing. You're solving a problem. What problem are you solving? And start with that, as opposed to AI as a topic, or as opposed to quantum computing as a topic. Don't go there.
So can you comment on IBM's AI strategy? It's unique.
Unique is a good word. So, all right, how can I say this without, I don't want to offend anyone. So look, IBM has a real good track record here of figuring these things out, right? We create events. We did this when we played chess against Kasparov to help you understand the power of high performance computing, modeling, and simulation, right? IBM goes on to lead. For years, we had the fastest supercomputer, the biggest supercomputer in the world. We managed a nuclear stockpile with all that modeling and simulation. And then IBM plays Jeopardy, right? They go against the Jeopardy champions. Somebody must have seen that show besides me. I wasn't at IBM at the time, but that becomes the hallmark event. Honestly, that says, what? You can play Jeopardy and win against all these smart people with your machine? By the way, do you know that machine was not connected to the internet? You understand that. That machine that played Jeopardy had to be isolated for about a week. And therefore, current event topics couldn't be asked. Like if you asked the machine what today's weather was, it didn't know, because it had none of that knowledge. But that became the seminal event. That became okay, it's here, it's ready for you. Maybe it's expensive. Maybe, it's done in a different way that it'll practically roll out. And then here is a bit of an indictment, and I don't mean it to come across this way. Too many times we do those things, and then it's like you poke the beehive and you forget to run. You can't do that. You can't create the market and then forget to fulfill it. And I think some of that went on. Now, I wasn't there at IBM. I think some of that went on. But you know what it did to the other conversation we just had? It woke everybody else up. Everybody else said, okay, it's here. It's time. Let's go. Let's run those algorithms. Let's figure out how to make them more ubiquitous. Let's democratize it. And IBM struggled with that, to be honest with you. Now they're doing a better job. They're more focused on problem sets. They're more focused on less large language models. They're more focused on problem-based language models. It's like, and these cycles happen all the time, right? You've seen these tech cycles, like everybody runs to where you think the fireflies are. but it's not the fireflies that you should be looking at. It's the storm behind the fireflies that you should be paying attention to. And that is what's going on now. So less large language models. They're too cumbersome. They're too expensive. More problem based. Give me the value again. Could you tell me what value you're creating for me? Whether I'm governmental or business or educational or social. Could you tell me? So I think IBM is more focused there now, Hunter.
A little bit about the story. I so love the story about when Steve Jobs asked you to come to Apple and work with him at Apple.
Yeah, that's a tough story for me, and I get emotional. I'm Italian, so if I cry, you'll have to forgive me. So my wife was quite ill. We were actually in her hospital room. She had just been operated on, and Steve and I had gotten to know each other when he was at Next, which is the company he formed after he left Apple. And the reason we knew each other was because I was doing things for IBM in the same space that Next was working in the Unix space. And, he had just decided to go back to Apple. They had bought his company Next, and he had to go rebuild it. And he calls me up and he says, "You got to come out here, Nick. You got to come work for me. We got to work together at Apple. I need you with me." And I said to him, "I'm thrilled to think you want me to come with you, Steve, and I'd love to do that." I said, "But now is just a terrible time. My wife just got out of surgery. I can't promise you that I can do anything. Her health is first. It's going to take a while for her to recover." He didn't like the answer. If you know Steve, with me, he was honestly always a gentle person, a gentle person. We could discuss everything without yelling at each other. We could discuss disappointment. We could discuss success. I knew him differently than most people, and some of that's in my book. So I had to turn him down, and we kept talking to each other on a regular basis. We called, I went out, I helped him do what I could to help him reboot, Apple, as you know it today. John Rubinstein is a good friend of mine, father of the iPod, which became the iPhone, the iPad, and the everything else at Apple. And my wife questions my intelligence from time to time about turning him down. But I said to her, "What choice did I have?" He wasn't. You're not going to. I can't move you out to the West Coast. You have to recover. What do you want me to do? I mean, I can't afford my own jet to go back and forth every day or every week or twice a week. So I had no choice but to simply, have to turn Steve down. So a very tough moment in my life. And it was even harder when I had to say goodbye to him just before he died.
Just 1 minute plug on the book and the essence, the theme or the essence of the book in 1 minute.
Look, the book is all about change. It's called If Nothing Changes, Nothing Changes. It's the world's changing whether you like it or not. So get in control of it, understand it, appreciate it, value it, lead it. Don't hide from it. Don't run from it. Lead it, but give it context. And that's the whole theory of the book. There's 37 other voices in the book. My voice and 37 other people talk to you about situations, environments. I mean, sure, everything you are probably involved in, they are basically talking about. So, be kind to yourself. The world is changing. Use those broader words, use those technology words. Yes, you could fit AI in, or you could fit quantum in, but don't fool yourself. Life science is changing, physical science is changing. You need to know something about both as a tech leader.